For those of you who are interested in the economics of it, it costs more to pursue a capital case towards execution than it does to have full life imprisonment without parole. This quote comes from American activist, politician, and attorney Ralph Nader. The death penalty evokes the fundamental human right to live. It was legalized in 1976 and was upheld by the Gregg v. Georgia case. Since then, more than 7,800 defendants have been sentenced to death, and more than 1,500 of them have been executed. Although some might argue that the capital punishment is needed, the death penalty should be abolished because of wrongful executions, it's expensive, and it does not deter crime. Wrongful executions, excessive funds, and deterrence are all reasons the death penalty needs to be abolished. 20-year-old Carlos de Luna was in a convenience store and witnessed a murder. He was on the phone with 911 while the murder was happening, but later was falsely identified as the killer. De Luna spent 6 years on death row before being killed in 1989 by the lethal injection. Although there is substantial evidence leading to the actual killer proving De Luna's innocence, he was never forgiven. De Luna was killed before he could legally have his first drink because of a wrongful execution. 185 people have been wrongfully convicted and sentenced to death. Along with wrongful executions, the cost of the death penalty is excessive. It is 10% less expensive to imprison for life than execute. North Carolina's stats concluded that by ending the death penalty, the state could have saved over $22 million. Although there's many reasons that the death penalty needs to be put to an end, many believe it serves a necessary purpose. Emotions run high in a death penalty case because many of the cases are the result of an extreme crime. Even though many believe that the death penalty does what it needs to, the penalty does not deter crime. Evidence shows that states that use the death penalty do not have lower crime rates, especially murder. The death penalty's laws falsely convince the public that the government is taking measures to try to lower crimes. Ultimately, the death penalty challenges the fundamental human right to live, as well as touches upon many other more significant issues. The death penalty has led to wrongful executions and is excessive in costs. Carlos de Luna was wrongfully identified as the killer and killed before he could legally drink his first drink. 185 people have been wrongfully convicted and sentenced to death. The death penalty is expensive, with North Carolina potentially saving over $22 million by ending it. It does not deter crime, as evidence shows that states that use the death penalty do not have lower crime rates, especially murder. Despite this, some still believe it has a necessary purpose. Although some might argue that the capital punishment is needed, the death penalty should be abolished because of wrongful executions, it's expensive, and it does not deter crime. Although many citizens will never be faced with a death penalty, it evokes our deepest human sentiments, touches on more significant issues such as life and death, crime and punishment, justice and order. Many consider the death penalty to violate their most considerable human right, the right to live.